Minister, this morning I was contacted by a school in my locality, Kinnerleck, County Cavan, a small village. 4 families have been living there for the last 18 months. All 4 families have applied for international protection. They're living in apartments in that village. Their children attend the local school. The parents are on the Parents Association and support the school in everything they do. The children play football with the local GAA club. Parents go to matches. I think they're from all different countries in Africa and different parts, are working locally. They were hand-delivered a letter, each of the families yesterday, told that they would be moved from that accommodation next Wednesday. The letter was dated the 4th of November. They were only handed it yesterday. They are devastated. Their friends in their school are devastated. The school itself, the employers, everyone is devastated. Like 18 months living in that village, and they've become well integrated into the village, and suddenly they're uprooted with a week's notice for some reason. And actually, I was informed last June that a contract was going to finish with that centre for some reason, because they were inquiring about something else, and they said that contract. But these families weren't informed of that. Some of these families, possibly all of them, are Muslim, but they actually the children took part in the nativity play last year in the school. I mean, and the families went to look. It's also an indication of how welcoming our town and our local area is, but it's also an indication of what's wrong with the system. It highlights what's wrong with the system. I mean, there is an international right to claim asylum, but we need a fast, efficient system when you come into the country to do that. These families are waiting at least 18 months. I'm not sure if they were here longer than that in some other location, but at least 18 months. They should have an indication now whether they have leave to remain or whether they don't. And if they don't, I understand they must be deported. But what is happening now is people are not being told for sometimes years on end whether they have leave to remain or not. And then they get a deportation order when they're already integrated into a community, whether they're already working, whether their children are already attending school. And it is not fair. It's not humanity. That is not the way we should treat our people. It lacks humanity in every way. And, I mean, I'm not talking about the apartments that these 4 families were living in because they were good quality apartments. But where families seeking asylum or individuals seeking asylum are housed here is determined by the private sector and has been for the last number of years. It's not to do with the area and whether it can accommodate people, whether there's good housing or health systems or school places available. It's based on if a private operator has space and is willing to offer it. We've heard of some very dodgy people actually making millions on the back of taxpayers' money by housing IPAS and Ukrainian applicants here. And some of the accommodation is less than good, and it's not good enough. We also need to address racism. We can never condone racism in any shape or form, but we've been far too slow to act. I mean, we had riots in this city 2 years ago, and yet people are only being brought to court now, and not even all of them have been. We saw a situation in England where there were riots, and they clamped down on them straight away and arrested the individuals and processed them and had them done. There also is a lot of false and misleading information floating around that needs to be addressed. Like I hear from people, oh, Ireland has changed and, all that. That's rubbish. We need to let people know 85% of the people in this country are people who were born in this country. We've only got about 15% of people coming in here from other countries, and the vast majority of them are coming in here to work in our health services, to work in our hospitality, in our IT services. And we have a proportion coming in here to study as well. In my office, I would meet people all the time from different nationalities, different colours, coming in and talking to me. And you know what they all are? They're all human beings. They're all here trying to better their own lives and better the lives of their families. The same as Irish people who left this country and went elsewhere did. Like people left Ireland some for political reasons. Some were exiled. Many left after the famine or the genocide that was created here in the 1840s. But the vast majority of people who left here over the last century left here for economic reasons. And they went to countries not always the right way. They went there as illegal immigrants. Some of them are still illegal immigrants in other countries. And yet they contributed to that country in their own way. And they went there to better their lives and the lives of their families. And if we were to take all of the immigrants out of this country, we would still have a housing problem. We would still have a problem in our health service. Why? Because the governments, successive governments, have failed to address those problems, but they're too happy to sit back and let people blame the immigrants for the problems. The people who are coming into this country are not causing any of the problems. They're actually helping our country, they're building our country, they're making our country a much better place, and they need to be welcomed, and we need to take every measure we can to ensure that that is happening, stamping out racism and unfair practices. Thank you.